Earlier this year, the Kremlin said it would cut its defense budget to less than 3% of GDP within the next 5 years. They will feature short to mid-range surface-to-air rockets. The Defense Ministry has long planned to replace its aging system.
The capital with the heaviest air shield on Earth just blinked. In the gap, a spiral attack unfolded. Today, we break down the 18-minute blueprint, decoys that pull S-400 eyes off target, ECM that turns a radar wall into fog for 8 minutes, and a precision wave that walks straight through. You'll see how timing, not tonnage, wins, and why a single window is all a smart force needs. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
Series of Ukrainian drone attacks on Russian territory. Several air defense systems have appeared on rooftops around Moscow this year. Russia to modernize Moscow's air defense systems. Russian Defense Ministry announced plans to modernize anti-missile defense systems. This year, we will complete the modernization of the anti-missile defense system of the city of Moscow, Russian Defense Minister Shoigu told.
If the shield is layered, why did 8 minutes matter more than 8 battalions? Moscow built a wall in the sky, long-range interceptors to swat high flyers, point defense guns for the last 100 seconds, and a web of overlapping radar to stitch the gaps. The stack aims to deny low, slow, small threats, the very targets that slip through lazy coverage. On paper, it closes every lane. But sensors and shooters are finite. Each radar has a sector. Each launcher has a magazine. Once timing knocks them out of sequence, they chase ghosts and waste shots. That is the core flaw: bait, saturate, desync. The opening move was cheap. Decoy airframes with radar reflectors or hot bricks light up the scope like bigger prey, forcing high-end batteries to commit interceptors and flip to reveal search modes. Every mode shown is a card on the table. Every launch is a round gone. Then the fog wall drops. Electronic countermeasures pour noise and false cues across the net, not to blind forever but to smear track quality and delay classification just long enough. Latency creeps in. Filters start to doubt. Operators stare at clutter that looks real enough to hurt, late enough to force rushed calls. Through that haze comes the precision stack. Small radar cross-section platforms ride altitude shelves, skim radar side lobes, and thread known engagement gaps. They don't outrun defenders, they outtime them, slipping between coverage bands while guns and missiles reset from the first wave's feints.
He said that developing the air defense weapons was one of the priorities for the army, that will be trained and equipped with new generation S-350 air-to-ground missile systems. Shoigu said the army would also form an air defense division brigade.
This is where money fights math. An expensive interceptor meeting a low-cost drone on the defender's clock is bad economics. Make that interceptor fire early, at the wrong target, and the cost curve tips hard. You are taxing the wrong node at the wrong second. Cadence is the weapon. Decoys trigger early responses. ECM compresses reaction time. The strike wave hits when decision loops are most crowded and racks are mid-reload. The lesson lands clean, timing beats tonnage, an 8-minute break in coherence opens a corridor that hardware cannot close fast enough. You've seen the window open, now see how the strike package steps through it, system by system. What makes 15 cheap airframes feel invisible to a billion-dollar shield? They don't fly as a blob. They arrive like a drumline. First pair on the deck, next 3 up a shelf, another 5 offset by 30 seconds on a cross-axis. Headings split the scope into wedges. Altitude stack. The map looks busy, so fire control splits its focus, and every split is a weaker lock. Now the defender has a bad choice. Shoot early and you burn racks dry on low-confidence tracks. Wait and you concede the last mile to leakers. Hold for a perfect picture and watch it never resolve before impact. Each option trades survival for certainty, and certainty is missing. ECM made that happen. When noise drags track quality down, fusers kick out targets, then pull them back in as ghosts, then downgrade them again. Operators see smear, jitter, and late ID tags. Automation hesitates. Humans hesitate longer. The clock does not. Point defenses feel it worst under cross-axis push. A system that loves one clean lane now whips left, then right, then up, then back to reload. Turret slew takes seconds. Reload takes longer. Those seconds are dead time. A drone that wasn't the priority becomes the one that gets through. Wrong problem. ECM forces late calls across the net. Precision drones ride the seam where one battery hands off and the next cannot take it in time. It's a relay with no clean baton pass. So the payoff questions line up. Where did a costly shield fail a cheap swarm? Which blind spot stayed open during the 8-minute EW window? How many interceptors went at decoys while strike drones crossed the wire? What did that gap actually buy? Here's the take you can reuse. Split sensors from shooters. Overload the brain, not just the guns. Time your entry to the reload beat. The win came from a choreographed stack, lure, blur, then pierce.
He did not say if these were new plans or if they were related to the conflict in Ukraine. Drone attacks on Russian territory, and last month, a drone attempted to strike a facility in the Moscow region. Recently, authorities in Crimea claimed the Russian Navy repelled a drone attack in the port of Sevastopol.
The Duma blackout was simply the proof that the stack held under fire. If you want more breakdowns of modern air defense versus low-cost swarms, subscribe now. Next time, we test how passive sensors and AI queuing change this math. The shield didn't fail for lack of guns. It failed when coherence snapped. An 8-minute break in the loop opened a lane, and the drones walked it. That's the lesson, timing flips the field. Not more steel. Better seconds. Comment your choice below. If you ran the defense, do you spend early on decoys or hold for the leakers? If you ran the attack, where do you stack the timing and why? If you want to study this fight the right way, look at sober work from serious institutes and official briefings. Subscribe and join a community that seeks the real math of modern conflict. Seen versus unseen. Timing versus firepower.